Hey Stampers, Gaynor again, and I'm coming back with a double flat gatefold card. We've done plenty of gatefold cards, but this one is so cute. And I've done some fussy cutting and some punching instead of stamping, as we always do. And obviously stamp the sentiment, but this opens up just like this. We've done some stamping in the centre. I've used an aqua pen just to use the ink itself to colour the flower in. And I did use a little bit of Winker Stella. I don't know if you can see it on there. It is on there, but what you could decorate the inside as well. Add some panels there and some panels there if you want to mega decorate, but it just stands up on your desk lovely. It folds lovely. The only thing is, I had to use a piece of cardstock which was 8.5, and I've used 5 3/4 in length. So here's my pieces. I've got this for punching my sentiment. This is for the inside. Oh, that's for punching my inside. This is an extra piece to cut an extra label. This is the piece we're going to fussy cut out, and I may add this one on dimensionals. We've got 2 pieces of our beautiful paper. It's just reversed of what we've got here because I'm using up old stuff. I've got some Blushing Bride, which is for the paneling, and I've cut these literally, you know me, I love small borders. So these 2 panels are 4 by 3 3/4, and the paper itself is 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. So there's 2 of those. This is 5 3/4 by 8.5, and it's so simple, literally so simple. I'm going to pop this in, and you're just going to score at 2 1/8, spin it round and score it at 2 1/8. Now, if you're using, these are American sizes, so you would get 2 cards. If you want to do the UK size, then do 8 1/4, but then you would have to score at 2 1/16, which is on the other scoreboard, I think. Let me just test that for you. Right, that's the card we're using. Let me get some scrap out. So, say I've got a spare piece of card, and this is 8 1/4. So for the UK people, if you want, you would have to score this at 2 1/16. You can do it on this board. Turn it round and score it at 2 1/16 again. Or you could mark it in the centre and then fold your paper in and then fold the other section in. So fingers crossed this works as well. I just thought it was easier to do it on here. Let's see. Yeah, and that is perfect. If you use UK size 8 1/4, and you would have to score at 2 1/16. That way you get the perfect join at the top. Or you could simply measure your card 4 1/8 and literally put a little score line on the 4 1/8 and fold the cardstock in, which is keeping the edges together, and then simply guide this one across until it butts up close, and then just fold that section. And I think these panels would just about work. Yeah, because I've cut them an 1/8 smaller. So this is not 5 3/4, obviously. You'd have to cut these down. So if you were doing the UK, oh, what size is, oh, these, I haven't trimmed it down, that's what it is. So this is 5 7/8. So, oh, there you go. You would get these in as well. You get these panels on. So, are we going to change from the Flirty Flamingo? I'd have to cut that down to, let me just cut that down. 5 3/4. Oh, I could have done that, see. Just cut this, because you've only got that little section to come off. But it gives you the distance between your cardstock. Because we've got Poppy Parade in this one as well. So I'm going to change that actually. Because we've got a Flirty Flamingo one here, I'm going to use the Poppy Parade. So this is 8.5, scored at 1 1/8. And this one then is 8.25, scored at 2 1/16 and 2 1/16. Or fold it in until you get it bang on, and then just burnish your score lines. And again, these panels will fit beautifully, and because we're only, oh, that's happened then, huh? Oh, it's me, it's my eyesight. Perfect. And what I did was to glue them down before I added my designer series paper, one at a time. So measure where you want it roughly, get your lines equal either side, and then just use this line in the center and just add your glue just to one side. And then all you got to do is flip that over and then just burnish that down. And there's your flap attached, and then you can add your designer series paper. You could actually add that on there, but we're gonna have to, that'll give me too much pattern by the time I've cut another one out. So I'm going to stick with this side. But if you didn't want to do the die cutting, use the flowered side on both sections. And again, I've cut these literally 1/8 of an inch shorter, just so I get that nice little border all the way around. Then again, add your second piece. I'm going to turn it upside down because I want glue on that side. Again, line it up. And then just glue that section. Don't worry about that. And then just flip it over. Line it up. You can keep your gaps perfect. And then you've got your top section and your bottom section all glued on ready. And it closes down. And again, you could just, if you don't want to do the fussy cutting like I'm going to do, you could literally, you could put that on that side, add a couple of flowers and add your sentiment there, maybe a nice, or even add a nice little ribbon going through there, add a little bow, then attach that down and then do your sentiment. But I'm going to do exactly what I did on the other one. So this could be one of those cards that you make that's easy, easier, and even easier, or easy, hard, and harder. You know, the step it up cards that they do and show you in Stampin' Up. Make sure I've got my borders just right. Perfect. How cute is that? And it opens up like this. Oh, while we're here, I'm going to do some stamping with, because I want this page to dry, because I'm using the aqua painter. So I'll do some stamping while we're here. And I just stamped off the page. Just like that. How cute is that? Get my sponge out, because you know I don't like dirty stamps. Gotta clean. I should get my stamping pad out really. And it's got a little bit pink. Oh, but I'll sort that out. While we've got the stamping out, let's stamp our sentiment. And it doesn't matter if you're straight with this one, because we're going to just cut it out with our punch anyway. And clean those up. Close that. Tissue away. So I'm using, this is the Timeless Labels punch, and like I say, you can line this up, you can top and bottom, you can make sure it's nice and straight, and before you punch, just level it up. Again, use that for scraps on another card. And then we're just going to pop one of these out with our scrap piece. I think I'm not going to use the Flirty Flamingo. Actually, let's see if I've got a piece of the red. Is that the same colour? No, this is like Melamambo. What's that one? Flirty Flamingo. I have also got, is there any colours on there? Nope. I'm just trying to use scraps up. So I have got a spare piece here. No, that's the wrong piece again. Gaynor's gonna get there in the end. There we go. I got a Poppy Parade there. Is that Poppy Parade? Oh, no, it's slightly darker. You never know. Go for your little scrap bins. I've got myself a little scrap bin here. I tell you what, it stops you from wasting so much card. So let's chop this down. That way I get a card base. So it's 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. So that gives me the perfect card base for another card that can go in my scraps bin. And then I can punch another one of those, and I've got space there for another one. And I've also got some scraps there for another one, which I've just thrown under my desk. So this is gonna mount on there. You just want that tiny little gap either side. So that's what we're doing. Punch can go over there. You could either use your aqua pen like I have and just pick up the colour from the ink. It just gives it that, and it doesn't matter even if you go outside, because we've got some of those stamp sets where it just fills in the colour but overlaps it as well. I mean, if you want to do the leaves, you can. But I'm going to set that to one side, and then when it's dry, I can add. I'm dropping everything, girls. Even my lids are gone AWOL. Let me get that here. Woo! I don't want my pen drying up. Woo! I've got a laminate floor now instead of carpet. And my chair goes wandering. I've put my feet up on the chair bar and I go wandering all across the room. So just use one of the aqua pens. You can clean the nibs next time you come to use. It does buckle it a little bit, but I've got beautiful colour just from the ink itself. So I'm going to set that to one side to dry. And we're going to do some fussy cutting. So if I just close this for a moment. I might add this one, like I'm saying, on I added the other one, I glued it down. But if I use dimensionals, it'll give us a bit of depth. So, let's start. And you can cut this right up to the edge. You can leave yourself with a little edge. It's a little bit longer than the actual pieces that we cut, but if you notice on here, it's wide enough to go from this edge to this edge. So I could have pushed that on a little bit more, but it's enough to go on my card. I haven't done any fussy cutting for a while, so I thought, what? I haven't got the stamp set for this, I don't think. Oh, I have. I've got the colour and contour one, but the flowers are different. This is an old designer series paper, so I have got so much retired designer series paper. Ladies, I'm not going to waste none of it and rush out and buy 10 ton more. I used to make that mistake quite often in the past. And I mean, you could cut those leaves out individual. In fact, I think I'll do that this time and tuck them under. So I'm literally going to keep the flower, because I cut this one off and made it stand up with dimensionals. I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to leave that flower intact, or we might cut it all separate. We'll have a look now. But you could cut each one of these buds off. You could lay them at different levels. I mean, you can cut this little one out of it poking out of the corner. Just use up the paper. So, make every little piece work for you. I mean, I'm not the best fussy cutter in the world, but I'm going to try. But each section, you could layer up, lay it somewhere different, make it all fit on your panel. Just be careful. Just trying to keep the edges nice and rounded like a die would. Just trim off and then come back in at an angle. And you can always cut them down a further once you have trimmed out bulk of it. I mean, I could go like this, look, oh look, I can do this, cut that off, and then I can always go back in and take off the sharpness by going around it gently and tucking in a bit slimmer. So again, just want to smooth that out. So we've got a beautiful cut out there. Now I'm going to trim out the leaves. It's just how much effort you want to put in to your card. You could also back this on some cardstock and cut it out. That way you've got it a little bit firmer, whereas you would have die cuts, you would use cardstock. But because it's going on the front of the card, it's not really interactive, these die cuts, so it's not like it's going to get flattened too much. So I've got my leaves. I've got this little bud of a flower here. I mean, and it doesn't say I'm going to use it, but if I just cut round that, and then I can go back in. I mean, there's nothing worse than trying to cut round paper when paper's dragging all over your scissors and getting in your way of your cuts. So trim it off and then go back to that section. So we've got our card. Obviously now I'm going to add, I might even add this to the bottom panel this time. So look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. I can tuck that leaf or have it over the top, have it tucked under there, you know, just to give it dimension. In fact, I'm going to turn that over now because I've got it in place. I'm going to get my dimensions out. Where are they? This one. And I'm going to join those two together there. One there. One there. And I'm popping one up there. I do have some small ones as well. So where's my pokey tool? There you are. So I can add them up here. Perfect. And I'm going to add one more on here, and I'm going to add a large one just in the center of this one. I've got a gem on my finger. We are going to be using gems in a minute, as well as, look, the glue dot stuck to my nail. The glue dots come off. There we go. There we go. I've saved a little gem. So let's put these together on dimensionals as well. Got my little bin. And I'm going to just layer that. I want a little tiny gap either side. And before I squish it down, I can just make sure it's level. Perfect. I am going to glue that one down because I don't want too much bulk off the front of my paper. So I'll remove these backings. Look what you've done with some, look at that, you've got my leaves there attached. Like I say, this one has got the pattern at the top. This one, we're going to add the pattern on the bottom. How cute. I'm going to glue this down actually. Let's get my stamp and seal. If I can get the lid on, off. Ooh, that's sticky. And I'm going to pop this at the top. Make sure I've got it straight. And now this little flower, because it's got a straight edge, we could tuck that in there. I'm going to stick that right in there. How cute is that? That is lovely. I've got some gems. Oh, and I've got a spare piece of designer series paper, and I'm going to use the red this time, whereas on this one I used the blushing bride or the flirty flamingo. I'm going to use the red flowers on here. So I've got a red here, and this is an old stamp. This punch, wow, I've had this since I joined, and I think they were retired then. I bought them in a clearance sale. Another one there. So I'm gonna go for 3, I think, and I'm gonna use the centre of that one if I can get that up there. I'm just gonna use the colour basically from the leaf. And look how many flowers. I mean, I could literally cut a flower. Look at that. I know it's got the pattern on the back, but if I flip that over, it's got its own little petals in. How cute is that? So I could use that even. So let's turn them over. Fetch in our little dimensionals again. I'm just going to turn that over and put that in the centre of there, because it's stuck to my pokey tool. And to clean your pokey tool, just use your glue eraser, and that makes that mega smooth again. going to add a little dimensional to each. I think I'm going to use 3, so I'm going to use these 2 because they've got a bit more pattern on. And I use that one for the inside, so I don't need dimensionals for that. So there's our card I made earlier. I've swapped up the colours this time. That's an American size, this is a UK size. So, am I going to add? I'm going to add that one there. I'm going to have one there just to add a bit more decoration. And I'm going to have one there. I'm going to add my gems just to the little centre of those flowers. I'm going to have one on here. They're going back in there. And, oh there, I stuck to my finger. I'm going to pop that one on the inside after I've glued this one in. So just the tiniest little dot. And I'm just going to cover that little bud there. Make sure I've got my glue dot in the centre. How sweet is that? So this can go inside my card now. You could have done all the aqua painting but left the card wide open, but because we're still working on the card, now this piece is cut at 4 by I nearly had it upside down. 4 by 3 and 5/8, just giving me that cute little border all the way around, top and bottom. How's that? How cute is that? And then that closes just like that. So this is the one I made earlier. This is the one I made now. These gems here, I used the Flirty Flamingo, but I'm going to use the Poppy Parade. Is this the Poppy Parade? It certainly is. I've already marked 3 of them. But what I'm going to do is just go over those I've marked. I mean, you could just stick to the rhinestones. I just wanted to fill the gaps on there, but I think these are cute enough. I tell you what, it's been a while since I've crafted, but I know where all my pens are. So again, you don't have to. I mean, you could add one right in the centre there. I'm just going to add them randomly on my card. Just to make it a little bit more sassy. And there is that double flat, what have I called? Double flat gatefold card. Woohoo, we're getting there in the end. I've done them before in the past. I've done them with just a single panel in the centre, but how cute is that? You could write another sentiment in there. Like I'm saying, you could add strips of designer series paper down there. That would be nice if you want to give it extra decoration. But like I'm saying, if you're USA, you're fine. You'll still get 2 cards, 4 1/4, 8 1/2, and score at 4 1/8. And if you're UK, 8 1/4 and score at 2 1/16, on your stamping trimmer. If not, you'd have to pull it out a fraction. Say you got it on the 2 1/8. Pull this out a fraction and then score 2 1/8. Fold the first piece over and then fold this section over till it meets with that one, and you've got, look at that tiny little close in the center. So this is UK size, this is US size, this is where this is all glued down, this is on dimensionals. I think that looks lovely with a bit more dimension. I'm just going to grab my Winker Stella because that's what I like. I love my Winker Stella. Where's that gone? There it is. And I'm just literally going to dab the flower on the inside, just to give that a waft. But let it dry, and then you've got a little sparkle on your card. I don't know if you can, there you go, there you can see that in the light. How cute is that? But they stand up lovely as well, so I mean you can turn it one way to see and then have the display. Absolutely lovely. Do you remember the gatefold we did with the double fold at the top and the single flaps at the bottom with a card? So when it opened out, it looked like a church door, and we kept it open that way as well. Do love it. But there you go. There's some more cards. Give me some feedback. That would be great. This card then folds to be 4 1/4, and then this one folds to be 4 1/8. So there we have it. I hope you enjoy the cards. I think they're really cute. My little mojo's starting to come back, which is a good thing. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. God bless you, and we welcome everybody here. We've also got a group over in Facebook called Stamp with Joy, same as the page is here. The site's Stamp with Joy here, and it's also Stamp with Joy in Facebook, and we have loads of ladies. We do a weekly sketch. Some of my cards you'll see are on the sketches each week, but I'm going to try my best to do a card a week and my album a week, and then once the album's completed, try and get 2 cards a week out to you. So give me a chance to get back into it, ladies, and I can't promise one every day like before, but yeah, I've enjoyed making these, and my little mojo's kicking back in. Got a few more ideas. You know I love fun fold cards, so I've got a few more ideas for some fun fold cards. So if you want to keep burnishing to make sure it stays nice and flat as well, this one has. I'll do a bit more burnishing, but there we go. We've got Poppy Parade and Flirty Flamingo, all with the same DSP. So thumbs up and a share. Don't forget to press like. The more likes there are, the more times the video gets shown out, and we can encourage more people. I'm disabled, so if I can do it, anyone can. So till next time, love you guys. Bye.